The road narrows long before the prison appears. There are no signs welcoming you, no markers hinting that you're approaching one of the most feared places on earth. Just empty land, dry wind, and armed checkpoints that multiply the closer you get. Every kilometer forward feels less like travel and more like surrender. What stands ahead is not just a prison. It is a statement. Rising from the isolation like a concrete scar, the complex stretches wider than the eye can follow. This is the largest prison by capacity ever built, designed not for rehabilitation, not for second chances, but for permanence. A place where escape isn't just difficult, it's unthinkable. This is Secot. Built in El Salvador, a country of just over 6 million people, the scale alone raises an uncomfortable question. Why does such a small nation need such a massive cage? The answer lies buried in years of bloodshed, fear, and streets once ruled by gangs more powerful than the state itself. For decades, criminal organizations controlled entire neighborhoods. Extortion was routine. Murder was currency. Survival depended on allegiance or silence. By the time the government acted, the damage was deep, and the response would be extreme. In March 2022, everything changed. A nationwide crackdown was launched with a speed and force rarely seen. Within just over a year, more than 70,000 people were arrested, nearly 2% of the adult population. Buses moved through the night, packed with shackled men, heads lowered, bodies pressed together so tightly they appeared as one moving mass. There were no chants, no resistance. Only the sound of chains and boots. Most of them would end up here. Secot was built for the worst of the worst. High-ranking gang members, enforcers, leaders, individuals accused of acts so violent that authorities decided they could never safely return to society. The message was blunt. Once you enter, you don't leave. Alive or free. The prison spans over 400 acres, divided into 8 massive modules. Each section is sealed within layers of reinforced walls topped with razor wire. The outer perimeter rises nearly 10 meters high, reinforced with an electrified fence carrying enough voltage to kill instantly. Watchtowers stand at fixed intervals, manned around the clock. Every angle is covered. Every blind spot eliminated. The architecture isn't just defensive, it's psychological. It doesn't merely prevent escape. It destroys the idea of it. Before we're allowed anywhere near the inner gates, we pass through multiple military checkpoints. Armed soldiers stop us, verify documents, scan faces. Even with official permission, progress is slow. Careful. Suspicious. This is intentional. Inside a 2-kilometer radius of the facility, all signals are jammed. Phones are useless. Radios are dead. Once inside, you are cut off completely, from the outside world and from help. Over 600 soldiers exist solely to protect the perimeter. Their job isn't to watch prisoners. It's to ensure nothing ever gets out. At the final checkpoint, we're instructed to leave everything behind. Watches, rings, bags, personal items. All gone. Only cameras and microphones are allowed, and even those will be searched repeatedly. We step forward, one at a time, through scanners powerful enough to reveal bones and internal organs. The machines were originally designed to inspect inmates, but today they're pointed at us. Guards explain why. In the past, prisoners swallowed objects, microchips, memory cards, even phone components, hoping to retrieve them later. Here, nothing enters unnoticed. Every inch of the human body is treated as potential contraband. Shoes off. Socks inspected. Clothing checked seam by seam. It takes nearly an hour just to clear security, despite months of prior approval. And even then, the tension never fades. Many of the guards wear masks. Not because of disease, but because anonymity is survival. Outside these walls, gangs still have reach. Faces remembered here can become targets out there. Identity is a liability. Inside the registration area, we're told what happens when inmates first arrive. Most don't carry identification. Many give false names. Some refuse to speak at all. So fingerprints are taken. Photos recorded. Bodies cataloged. From that moment on, they exist in the system, and nowhere else. Family contact is forbidden. No visits. No calls. No letters. Once processed, inmates are erased from civilian life entirely. For their families, there is often no closure. During the mass arrests, some innocent people were swept up in the chaos. With no communication allowed, their loved ones don't know where they are, or if they're even alive. For some families, footage like this may be the first proof of existence they've seen in years. Before entering the housing modules, we're taken to the armory. Rifles line the walls. Shotguns. Tactical gear. Riot shields. Everything is prepared for a scenario authorities insist has never happened here, but could at any moment. These are not ordinary prisoners. According to officials, they are individuals capable of extreme coordinated violence. Restraints are displayed next: cuffs, chains, reinforced shackles used during transport. Every movement of an inmate is controlled, minimized, calculated. So far there have been no riots. No escape attempts. Not because the prisoners lack intent, but because the environment crushes it. The code is self-sufficient. Its own power grid. Its own water and sewage systems. Even if the outside world went dark, the prison could operate independently for days. Isolation is built into its foundation. As we move deeper inside, the air changes. The silence becomes heavier. The distance from freedom more tangible. A bus carries us through the compound. The scale is overwhelming. Gravel lines the ground between buildings, not decorative but functional. Every step on it makes noise. Even bare feet would betray an escape attempt. Ahead, the modules rise like sealed vaults. We're about to enter one. Inside, more than 2,500 inmates wait. And they already know we're coming. The doors don't open quietly. They slide apart with a heavy mechanical groan, the kind of sound that doesn't just announce entry, it warns you. The moment we step inside the module, every eye turns toward us at once. Thousands of them. Watching. Measuring. Silent. This is not chaos. It's control pushed to its absolute limit. The men inside are dressed identically. White shirts, white shorts, rubber slippers. No jewelry. No personal items. No photos. No letters. No reminders that they were ever anything beyond what they are now, prisoners without an end date. Most of them are young. Early 20s. Some barely older than teenagers. Their crimes, according to officials, range from extortion to mass murder. Faces hardened by violence, yet frozen in an eerie stillness. They do not shout. They do not move forward. They simply stare. And they do not cross the yellow line. That line is everything. We're told never to step beyond it. On our side, armed guards, barriers, authority. On theirs, thousands of men with nothing left to lose. No bars separate us, only rules. And everyone here understands what would happen if those rules collapsed. Each module contains 32 cells. Each cell is designed for 80 inmates. But capacity is a suggestion, not a limit. Some cells hold more than 150 men, packed so tightly that personal space is reduced to half a square meter per person. There is no privacy. No silence. No darkness. The lights never turn off. Ever. The illumination is constant, day and night, so guards and cameras can monitor every movement. When it's time to sleep, inmates cover their eyes with towels, trying to trick their bodies into rest. Time itself loses meaning here. There are no clocks. No schedules that matter to the prisoners. Only repetition. Inside the cells, metal bunk beds are stacked 4 levels high, bolted to the floor like industrial shelving. No mattresses. No pillows. Just bare steel. Each inmate is given the absolute minimum. A sheet, a uniform, socks, slippers, and a towel. Nothing else. Where they sleep is where they live. Where they eat. Where they wait. In one corner of the cell is the bathroom, if it can be called that. 2 toilets shared by dozens of men. The same area is used for bathing. There are no showers, no running water. Prisoners scoop water from a shared basin using plastic dippers, cleaning themselves in full view of everyone else. Drinking water comes from a single blue barrel. This is not accidental. Officials describe it as discipline through deprivation. Comfort, they argue, creates opportunity. Opportunity creates power. And power is what these men once had. Hygiene is enforced with military precision. Every 2 weeks, inmates are shaved by staff. Heads. Faces. Body hair. Not for appearance but control. Hair can hide weapons. Beards can conceal contraband. Individuality is stripped down to skin. Tattoos, however, remain. They are impossible to erase. Ink covers faces, necks, chests, arms, maps of loyalty, violence, and hierarchy. Numbers. Symbols. Codes understood instantly by those who know. A 13 here. An 18 there. Roman numerals. Devil imagery. Spider webs. Teardrops beneath the eye. Each mark tells a story. Some represent rank. Others allegiance. Some signal time served. And a few, according to those who understand the language, count the lives taken. 1 teardrop may mean 1 death. Several may mean so many that counting no longer matters. These tattoos once granted power on the streets. Here they grant nothing. Rival gangs that once slaughtered each other now occupy the same cells. Side by side. Sleeping inches apart. Outside these walls, crossing into the wrong neighborhood could mean death within minutes. Inside they coexist, because there is no alternative. Violence here would not be symbolic. It would be final. Guards patrol elevated catwalks above the cells, watching from behind shields. Cameras cover every angle, feeding into a system that never blinks. Any unusual movement triggers an immediate response. We're told that communication between inmates is strictly controlled. If someone attempts to send messages, through gestures, mouthing words, coded movements, punishment is swift. Even now, as cameras roll, some prisoners attempt to signal. Their faces are blurred later. Their intentions erased. But the attempt alone proves something important. Even here, influence is not fully dead. The inmates leave their cells for only 1 hour per week. 1 hour. That time is used for limited exercise, religious instruction, or supervised movement, never all at once. The schedule rotates because there isn't enough space to release everyone safely. Armed guards stand watch, weapons ready, eyes fixed. For the remaining 167 hours of the week, the inmates are locked inside. They once controlled streets, neighborhoods, entire cities. Now they can't take a step without permission. Meals are the same every day. Breakfast, beans and rice. Lunch, white rice, pasta, tortillas. Dinner, the same. No meat. No variation. No choice. Food is delivered through slots. Inmates eat with their hands, then wash their plates before returning them. A sugary drink accompanies meals, heavy on calories, light on nutrition. Officials acknowledge that protein deficiency is common, but argue that survival, not health, is the priority. This is not designed to break the body quickly. It is designed to wear down the mind. For those who disobey rules, or are suspected of planning anything, the punishment is isolation. We're shown the isolation cells last. They are smaller, darker, silent. A concrete bed. A sealed door. A tiny opening that barely allows light or air. No sense of time. No human contact. Water and a toilet basin sit side by side. There are no books. No distractions. Nothing to anchor the mind. Inmates can be held here for days. Sometimes weeks. Officials admit that even the most hardened criminals struggle with isolation. Without stimulation, without voices, without reference points, the mind turns inward, and often collapses. They describe it without emotion. This breaks them, one guard says. And that is the point. As we prepare to leave the module, the staring doesn't stop. Faces follow us. Some are empty. Some burn with resentment. Others seem tired. Not regretful. Not redeemed. Just exhausted. This is not a place of transformation. It is a place of endings. But one man inside these walls is about to speak. A man known by a name that carries weight, even here. The guards warn us again. 10 minutes. No more. Because the story is about to get personal. The guards move first. 12 of them surround a single figure as he's brought into the interview area, chains tight, movements deliberate. This is not procedure, it's precaution. Every step is controlled. Every breath monitored. We are reminded again, 10 minutes. Not because time is scarce, but because risk is real. The man known inside the system as Psycho stands in front of us. His face is marked by tattoos that tell a long and violent story. Symbols of allegiance. Numbers that once inspired fear. Lines that can never be erased. He removes his mask when ordered. His real name is Marvin Ernesto Medrano Vasquez. He is 41 years old, though his face suggests less. Years of confinement have preserved his features in a strange way. No sun, no stress of survival on the streets. Just time. Endless time. He joined a criminal organization in his early teens. By the time he was a young adult, violence was not a decision. It was routine. He speaks calmly without drama, explaining how it began. Poverty, absence, the search for belonging. No father. A mother working constantly. Streets that offered structure when family could not. At first it was theft. Then escalation. Then loyalty. When asked why people join gangs, his answer is simple. Need. Food. Protection. Identity. The gang filled a void long before it demanded blood in return. Eventually it did. He confirms what many already know, that initiation required killing. Not as punishment. As proof. Proof that there was no turning back. When pressed about numbers, he hesitates. Not out of shame, but calculation. He avoids specifics. Says only that the count exceeds 50. Maybe more. At some point, he explains, the acts stop feeling like actions and start feeling like instructions. Coldness isn't chosen. It's learned. Asked about family, his voice changes. He hasn't seen his son since the boy was 5 years old. The child is now an adult. 21. A life that continued without him. He speaks about wanting to warn him, not to follow the same path. To choose school. Stability. A future. It's the first time emotion surfaces. He admits that at night, alone on his bunk, he thinks. Sometimes cries. Sometimes prays. Faith, he says, is the only place left to look for forgiveness. Not from the state. Not from society. From God. But forgiveness does not open doors here. When the interview ends, the guards move quickly. The chains are secured again. The distance restored. He is taken back into the system, disappearing into the same structure that holds thousands like him. And just like that, he becomes invisible again. As we exit the prison, sunlight hits our faces in a way that feels almost unnatural. The contrast is jarring. Inside, time stands still. Outside, life moves on. Sakote was never meant to be subtle. It exists to send a message, both to those inside and those still free. The Salvadoran government's position is clear. Crime will no longer be negotiated with. There will be no truces, no deals, no revolving doors. The results, statistically, are undeniable. At its worst, El Salvador once recorded over 100 homicides per 100,000 people in a single year, one of the highest rates on Earth. Entire communities lived under constant fear. Businesses paid extortion as routine. Parents warned children which streets could get them killed. By 2023, that number had dropped dramatically to just over 2 per 100,000. For the first time in decades, neighborhoods once ruled by gangs are quiet. Children play outside. Markets stay open after dark. Tourists return. A sense of normalcy, long absent, has re-emerged. Supporters call it justice. Critics call it authoritarian. And both may be right. Because behind the success stories lies a harder question. What about the innocent? During the mass arrests, some people were detained by mistake. Wrong place. Wrong tattoo. Wrong accusation. Inside a system that allows no contact with the outside world, their families may never know the truth. There are no appeals here that move quickly. No public trials. No visible pathways out. Sakote does not distinguish loudly. It absorbs. This raises a dilemma that goes far beyond one country. Is peace worth absolute control? Is safety sustainable when built on permanent confinement? And if fear is removed from the streets, where does it go instead? For now, El Salvador has chosen certainty over doubt. The gangs that once terrorized millions are no longer visible. Their leaders sleep on metal bunks under permanent light. Their influence is weakened, but not fully erased. Even behind walls, power adapts. It waits. History has shown that force can suppress violence. Whether it can end it remains unanswered. Sakote stands as both a warning and a mirror, a reflection of what happens when a society decides it has had enough. When mercy is replaced with containment. When freedom is exchanged for order. For some, it is the safest El Salvador has ever been. For others, it is a line that once crossed cannot be uncrossed. The world is watching. And the fortress remains silent. If you've come this far, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification button to get notification on the next post.